So let's talk about your potential newfound ministerial instruction authority. The government is proposing to create groups within the Express Entry pool and to issue invitations to apply to these specific groups. Can you speak more in terms of what the government's intentions are in terms of what these groups may entail? So is it going to be sector and occupation specific, or is there more to it?
There will likely be more to it than that, but that could be a part. Ainsley, you've got a sophisticated audience, so I won't explain what Express Entry does. But one of the shortcomings of the system now, and Express Entry is a good system. When I look globally, it's a huge competitive advantage for Canada. Where it could be improved is at present, if there are particular challenges that your economy is facing and might be facing in the long term, we don't have the ability to tailor the invitations to apply under the Express Entry system to meet those in-demand skills or qualifications. If you're in a circumstance where you have an abundance of applications that are all in one particular sector, and that sector doesn't have high needs in Canada, the Express Entry system as it exists today is likely to bring in people that might not be perfectly matched to the needs of the Canadian economy. The authorities that are included in Bill C-19 for ministerial instruction to your point could include things like sector-by-sector needs. It could include language competencies. It could include regional needs, because the needs in my province, in Nova Scotia, are very different than downtown Toronto. And to the extent that we can, the goal is really to maximize the contribution that the newcomer can make in their community, so they're set up for success when they arrive, but also that they're going to meet the needs of the community where they're going to reside. I expect we're going to see potentially increased retention rates at a local level, because people are coming in where they know they have opportunities, because that was the basis of their invitation to apply. The other thing that I'm thinking on right now that I think we need to build into this analysis is when you're welcoming a permanent resident, it can't be to fill a very short-term gap in labor force. We need to be assessing the skills that will be in demand for the long term. If we're bringing somebody in at potentially age 25, for example, we're going to want to make sure that the skills they have or have the capacity to develop are going to be in need for the next 30 or 40 years. So we can maximize that person's contribution, not just when they arrive, but over the course of their time becoming a permanent resident and hopefully a citizen again.
So right now, invitations to apply will be based on two things, based on your current authority. It could be based on your CRS score or the program out for which you're eligible. Are you saying moving forward it may be even more sophisticated than that, in the sense that, for instance, in the case of Nova Scotia, if you have an intention to reside in Nova Scotia, you have a certain CRS and a certain language capacity, and you are working, you have a healthcare occupation, then you may issue an invitation to apply to such an individual, etc.
So that's the kind of things that we're looking at. But before we make final decisions on this, and look, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. The House of Commons has adopted things. This is not yet the law for Canada, and I don't want to make any assumptions about what the Senate may do. I hope they will pass it, and I hope we have these authorities soon. But once they pass it, and once the bill achieves what it's saying, I start to go talk to people. If I sit in my office in Ottawa and start making decisions about what regions and what sectors should benefit from this new policy, I would be going down a very dangerous path. I need to engage with people at a local community level. I need to engage with my provincial and territorial counterparts. I need to engage with business councils and sectors that have high needs, so we can understand what their needs are. We'll develop the kinds of policies that you've just discussed about ITAs going out to these specific people who meet criteria through those conversations, but those are very much the kinds of things I'm thinking about now. But I just don't want to project that there's a final decision made until we actually have the opportunity to have those conversations with other stakeholders who may teach me a thing or two about the path that we're going.